and physical harm to our children. Parents, it is your responsibility to protect and to educate your children. Develop a relationship of trust with your child. If they trust you, they will tell you. Child sexual abuse cannot be our norm. We must work together to correct this. Help us prevent, help us protect, help us prosecute. A message by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or
You ever hear earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors, in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drops and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WINN FM.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on WINN Media 98.9.
Good morning and welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. It is April 7th, 2025. It's a beautiful Monday morning here in the Federation. Good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the regional and international diaspora, to all of you tuned in, whether you are on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, YouTube, or whatever other means you use to hear us. We welcome you this morning. Remember the numbers you can contact us on are 0333-440065. That's for the UK. For the US, we have two numbers. The first, 718-285-6984. The second, 305-921-4619. Our local numbers are 466-0989 or 662-0989. If there's something pressing you want to bring to the fore, or if you just want to join in on the conversations or topics that are being discussed at the moment. Now, I was speaking to Quint earlier. Quint, how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
And we were a tad bit concerned, and I know a few of us are concerned as well, about the tariffs. And then there was a story from Mr. Brantley next door, and let me pull that one up so we can touch it as it pertains to the tariffs. So give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Always when you're ready for something, it's never there. Okay, here we go. It says, Nevis Premier advocates for trade diversification amidst Trump-era tariffs. And this article can be found on winfm.com, and it's written by Kevin Brown. It says, Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, addressed the growing need for trade diversification in St. Kitts and Nevis during a press conference held on March 31st, 2025. The Premier highlighted the potential impact of the Trump's administration America's First agenda, particularly the implementation of tariffs on countries that have historically been key import partners for the region. On April the 2nd, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump unveiled a swathe of new tariffs, some of which affect the Caribbean region. The Federation and other territories have been hit with a 10% tariff. St. Kitts and Nevis is also in a trade deficit of over $750 million with the U.S. against the surpluses of other countries targeted by the tariffs. Brantley emphasized the importance of exploring new trade relationships with South and Central America. Priority areas for St. Kitts and Nevis I'm so happy that you mentioned South and Central America because you're right. We need to develop closer ties with South and Central America as well. And in many instances, they are closer to us than some of the other countries in the Middle East and even in Africa. He lamented the absence of direct transportation links between Africa and the Caribbean, as well as between South and Central America and the Caribbean. He said, unquote, "It is a matter of great regret that we have no direct transportation links between Africa and the Caribbean or between South and Central America and the Caribbean. All we do here is routed through Miami and then comes down to us," end quote. This, the Premier argued, increases costs and makes the region vulnerable to external economic policies. The Premier also raised concerns about President Trump's proposed tariffs on Chinese ships, emphasizing the potential for increased consumer costs. President Trump is now also talking about levying a tariff or fine on Chinese ships. So if your goods just happen to be in a ship that was manufactured in China, I think they're talking about $1 million as a penalty every time the ship calls on a U.S. port. He explained how this could affect the cost of goods imported from countries like Brazil. So if a Chinese-made ship is leaving Brazil with beef, going up to Miami to then bring that beef to the Caribbean, it means that you then have that Chinese ship docking there and that penalty being applied, which means that they're going to pass it on now to us down here who are consumers. Wow. Brantley acknowledged President Trump's prerogative to act in America's best interest. President Trump is making decisions in the best interest as he sees it for America. That's what leaders are supposed to do. I have no argument with him doing what he says he's doing. He's going to do, as he puts it, makes America great again. However, he cautioned against allowing these policies to impoverish the region. But in making America great again, the question is whether or not we are going to allow that to impoverish the rest of us. It is a whole long article, so I'm just going to stop there because it goes on to varying other things. But if that is the case, we are in some real trouble down here.
Well, our leaders will have to renegotiate trade routes and trade partners and everything henceforth going forward, because as you are well aware, the colonialist setup is that everything goes through the United States base before it comes to us.
Yeah.
And that is why the United States can impose these tariffs that will affect us eventually. We have a caller.
Caller, good morning. You're live at LNG. Hello? Caller, we can't hear you. Okay, caller, you can always call back. And we see, as we were discussing earlier too, the Honorable Mia Motley.
I think she was trying to address that very same issue. Let's try a call again. Hello?
Caller, good morning.
Don't tell me.
I'm not hearing you at all. We do humbly apologize for this.
Okay, try again.
Caller, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing this morning?
Huh?
Good, thanks. Thanks for your patience.
Pretty good. Yeah, good morning to you and Quinn.
Yeah, good day.
Yeah, man. The saga continues. This is the start of a new work week. And guess what? It's on and popping.
You must. Did you go?
I don't need to.
Okay.
Enough persons have done that.
Okay.
Enough persons have done that across the nation and internationally. Yes, guess what? My contribution is that our leaders in the Caribbean have failed us. They are just full of talk, no action. Even a baby, a kindergartner, knows when his or her parents is packing a lunch bag of food or vegetable got to be inside that lunch bag.
Mm-hmm.
You know, since I've got reconnected to this political stuff in the Federation, 2013, thereabout, you do some homework, young friend, and find out how much tractors came into St. Kitts and Nevis since then to now. All these stuff about our politicians, they're just full of talk, man, no action. You know, all these comments from the Premier and everybody else, we can talk from now until Judgment Day, but unless we come up with the solutions, we're not saying anything or doing anything. We need action. That's what Trump is showing the world. The man is taking action the way how he sees it. It may not really be good for America because the prices and stuff don't go up, but he is doing what he sees. This is his ideas. This is not American ideas. This is Trumpism, not Americanism. At least, no matter how you feel about Trump, the man is taking action. He's doing what he says he's going to do as a politician. Different than Trump, the other person that's been doing action, Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. Our leaders in the Federation, they got to bring agriculture sector up to speed. That's a must. And that Tabasco can negotiate that because that was signed off on prior to Trump putting these tariffs out. But now there's a 10% tariff across the board, which is going to affect St. Kitts and Nevis. So whoever his advisors are, they need to have a meeting and go back to the drawing board with that Tabasco project because Tabasco is not food. It's not food. And they didn't consult properly with the farmers. The farmers, then they got the ideas and they got the experience and the knowledge. But our Prime Minister and the Minister of Agriculture, they're making decisions exclusive of the farmers. And that's not good at all. That's not good for St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, but we want to see where this stuff going to go. But Trump is not going to back down no time soon. This stuff is not going to stop. So we got to get prepared. It's always better to be proactive than reactive. Now we are seeing our leaders being reactive, and trust me, by time they think about doing some action, Trump will be out of office. So basically, we have two things that's going on in the world right now. We have the battle of the visas. That's what I coined that new phrase, the battle of the visas. Every country is now putting out bulletins saying they don't want certain people, they don't want people coming to the country without having the proper visas. Then we have Trump on the other side bringing these tariffs to the rest of the world. We in the Federation got to look and pay attention to what's going on, man. These guys are way behind. Our politicians in the Caribbean and in the Federation, we are lagging behind. That's my contribution for now. I'll keep it there for now. Let other people come in. Thanks. But before I go, sensitive.
Hi.
Yeah, seeing that we are having all these talk, right? Why can't we have a segment, you know, maybe some person or persons come in the studio instead of we just depending on the callers? Like, we need to probably have a segment because this stuff is not going to stop no time soon. And this is about financial. This is like a lot about financial. Everybody is not experienced with this stuff. Persons who are economists and accountants and stuff like that who got this financial knowledge. You know, Timothy Harris, why can't we get him on for a segment?
Yeah, that's something we can work on, but I think our very own Dr. Terrence Martin touched on it on Money Matters as well.
Yeah, we should bring the old Prime Minister back and see where his opinions and his views lie. We should bring him on, you know, even at least on a telephone conversation. I would encourage them who have the financial experience to at least try to call in as much as they can and contribute and bring us up to speed with this knowledge, this financial knowledge that we need. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your contribution as usual.
Okay, let's take a bit of a break and we will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM. Ricardo, my hair is almost done. Could you pick me up? I got my nails done too, so walk with a little extra money?
I'm almost there.
Forgot the extra money, but you know, happy wife, happy life. Looks like the salon has first pay. QR code scanned, funds sent, paid.
For quick transfer with just an email, mobile number, or QR code, use First Pay from CIBC Caribbean. Visit cibccaribbean.com/ways to bank for more information.
Let TDC Financial Services help you go for your goals. Whether you're thinking of taking that grand vacation, down payment on a house, higher education, TDC Financial Services has various plans that will allow you to go for your goals. Choose from the Accumulator Plus, Investment Starter Plan, and Fixed Deposit. Ready to go for your goals? Visit us at TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WINN FM.
Your ambition deserves the right foundation. Build it with the Sagicor Cave School of Business and Management, the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus. At SCHSBM, we push past limits to unlock success. Whether you are starting with an undergraduate degree or advancing with postgraduate studies, your journey begins with a commitment to continuous growth and development. Apply now and redefine what is possible. Visit us at cavehill.uwi.edu/SCHSBM to find the right program for you. You're one application away from success.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Welcome to Island TV.
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture, appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company where you can get it all. All at TDC, home and building depot. Lawn and garden, the TVs and stereos. All at TDC, home and building depot. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at TDC, home and building depot.
Hey, have you heard about the water shortage in our area?
Yeah, it's pretty serious. I've been trying to conserve water as much as possible.
Me too. I've started taking shorter showers and turning off the faucet when I brush my teeth.
Well, that's great. Another way to save water is to fix any leaks in your house.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. How much water can a leak waste?
A small leak can waste up to 20 gallons of water daily, which can really add up over time.
Wow, that's a lot. And have to check for any leaks in my house.
But another good tip is to only run your dishwasher and washing machine when they are full to save water and energy.
I'll keep that in mind. It's important that we all do our part to conserve water, especially during this shortage.
Absolutely. Every drop counts.
This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Water Services Department. Learn more at water.gov.kn.
Your ambition deserves the right foundation. Build it with the Sagicor Cave School of Business and Management, the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus. At SCHSBM, we push past limits to unlock success. Whether you are starting with an undergraduate degree or advancing with postgraduate studies, your journey begins with a commitment to continuous growth and development. Apply now and redefine what is possible. Visit us at cavehill.uwi.edu/SCHSBM to find the right program for you. You're one application away from success.
Let's Get Real on WINN FM. Hi, this is Lavi. Let's Get Real, Wednesday nights at 8 on WINN FM. Get ready for an hour of real talk that will keep you engaged and informed, bringing you insights, the hottest topics of the moment, and perspectives that matter from the runway to the political arena. Real Talk with Lavi covers all. Let's Get Real, Wednesday nights at 8 on WINN FM.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on WINN Media 98.9.
Good morning once again, and welcome back to Island Tea. And it's now time for traffic talk, and we have a house of officers. I would say this morning we have 3 officers in the building. I'll allow them to introduce themselves and the topic for today. Officers, good morning and welcome to Island Tea and Traffic Talk.
Good morning, and how are you?
I'm trying my best to be my best. What about you?
I'm fine, thank you. This morning, with you once again is Sergeant Henry of the Traffic Department, and I have 2 senior constables here with me this morning. I'll let them introduce themselves, and then I will tell you our topic for this morning.
Good morning. My name is Constable Bell of the Traffic Department.
Good morning. I'm Constable Nevis.
This morning. This morning our topic is policy on vehicle licensing and compliance and exemption. And this morning we want to talk about waiver. And a fee waiver is a waiver that is signed in order to reduce the fee amount either partially or fully. And this morning we want to talk about when vehicles are off the road. It can be either waiting for some kind of part, so it's broken down, it is waiting for some maintenance, or if the person is overseas and wants to notify the traffic department, then this waiver will be, you'll be eligible for this waiver, but you must give us it in writing. So I'll just pause here for now and the Constable Bell take up from where I left off.
Okay, good morning again. This is a topic that a lot of people seek clarity on, and that is the reason why I chose that topic for this morning. However, the purpose of the policy, this policy establishes the requirements and procedures for vehicle owners regarding the timely renewal of vehicle licensing, notification of unlicensed vehicles, eligibility for exemptions, and the responsibilities of new owners in case of vehicle transfer. Okay, so we're going to speak on the waivers for persons who, as the sergeant said, might have a vehicle that is waiting apart, so they don't have a need to license it because it wouldn't be on the road. And also for persons who may be selling or transferring vehicles that haven't been licensed for a period of time, the requirements they need: the seller and the receiver. Okay? The obligation to license a vehicle. All vehicle owners are required to ensure that their vehicles are licensed in accordance with the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act. The vehicle license must be renewed on or before the due date. Notification of unlicensed vehicle. If a vehicle remains unlicensed for more than 1 month beyond the due date, the owner must submit a written notification to the traffic department stating the reason why their vehicle has not been licensed. Failing to provide such notice will result in the owner being liable for a full licensing fee plus any applicable penalties. So, if you do not notify the traffic department of this, we would not be able to give you a waiver. Okay? Persons tend to go to Inland Revenue, and when they get the fee, and the persons tell them that they need to go to traffic to try and get the waiver. That's when they come and report it. But we wouldn't be able to give you that waiver because we wouldn't have had any privy notification for us to lawfully give you that waiver, okay? So don't wait until it's too late to come to the traffic department and put in this notice.
Let's use last month, right? I'm going to ask this question. So let's say I had a vehicle in 3 and I was supposed to license it, but it's in the shop currently. It's still in the shop on April the 7th.
Yes.
Can I bring that waiver now?
No, you would come and notify us now that the vehicle is down and it's in the shop.
And you give me that waiver?
No, we will not give you that waiver yet. We would note it with our records. So by the time you are now ready to license the vehicle is working now and everything, and you're going to Inland Revenue, before you go to Inland Revenue, you come back to us, we would have the documents there recorded, and you're telling us, well, the vehicle is up now and I would like to go and license it. Can I get the waiver to walk with to Inland Revenue, please?
Okay. All right.
So once we had that information recorded, it wouldn't be an issue with giving you the waiver. The issue to be when persons come at the time they're trying to license the vehicle and now trying to notify us that the vehicle was off the road 2 years and we have nothing to comply that with.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know if that clarifies.
Yeah, it clarifies.
Okay. Constable Nisbet, you want to add anything? Okay. Eligibility for license fee exemption and waiver penalty waivers. Vehicle owners who submit to require notification in a timely manner may be eligible for an exemption on a license fee for the period of that the vehicle was off the road when they chose to license the vehicle if the vehicle was not used. The waiver penalty charge related to the period that the vehicle remained unlicensed. Prior to proceeding to the Inland Revenue for payment, owners must first visit the traffic department to verify their eligibility for those concessions. So don't go to Inland Revenue to license your vehicle if you know that you had reported it to the traffic department before you come into the traffic department. That saves you the back and forth. Okay?
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Traffic Talk.
Go ahead, caller.
All right, caller, you can always call back.
Go ahead.
So I would let Constable Nisbet let you all know the responsibilities in the event of a vehicle transfer.
Some more.
Okay, good day again. If a vehicle is sold, ownership is transferred while remain unlicensed, the new owner assumes full responsibility for the payments for any outstanding licensing fees. I mean, if your vehicle was not licensed and you try to sell it, the owner have to pay for the year before. If you were down for a while and you sold the vehicle, if you sold the vehicle that was down, right, and you did not report that it was down, the new owner now take up the responsibility of paying that fee.
So why is it the new owner is paying that fee and not the person
Because
that is selling it to
he
you?
owns the vehicle now.
And that's why we're going to encourage the persons that are going to be the new owners to make sure that they check that before they assume transfer of ownership. So he would go into depth.
Okay. The buyer of the vehicle is supposed to make sure that they verify, right, that the license status is up to date, the insurance, everything is up to date before they buy the vehicle, right? Because because when you're buying the vehicle, you cannot come and tell us that the vehicle was down, so you're selling it and you want a waiver, because you will not get that waiver under the traffic. Right? Some people wait till inland revenue tell them to go to get a waiver, but that it cannot work when you come to the traffic department. Right? Unless we get a notice before, you will have to pay that fee.
Yes, we cannot backdate any. we cannot backdate the requests for the waivers. So if you come today, the 7th of April, that is the date we're gonna start. That you reported that the vehicle was off the road. We're not gonna put. You cannot come and tell us since today, my vehicle was down since last year, February. No.
So I have to pay all those backdated stuff?
Yes.
So you're only going to account
for what you came and report to us.
All right.
So I want persons to really listen and understand. We have a lot of people buying vehicles from persons here. So before you buy the vehicle, the transfer of ownership is easy at the traffic department, but when you go to the inland revenue where you pay your taxes, they're not gonna. They need written documents in order to consent those waivers. Otherwise, they could be in problems. So that's why we strongly suggest and advise that persons buying vehicles should inquire that the vehicle license was up to date.
And the insurance.
And the insurance, because once that vehicle is transferred in your name,
everything
you assume everything.
Okay.
To note, when you buy a vehicle, you have 7 days to go to inland revenue to do the transfer over to your name. It's going to be transferred at the traffic department, but for it to be finalized, you have to go to inland revenue. A lot of people don't go within the 7 days, and then you will have to come back to traffic department after that 7 days to redo that document. Because most people feel like traffic is the final destination. When you come to traffic, you do the transfer, that's it.
Even if the officer told you have 7 days, I've had...
It is on the document.
On behalf of the wardens, I'm going to give them their flowers now. I hear them loudly say, almost all the time I go there, you have 7 days. So they can't go and say they didn't know, or the document didn't say. They got the document that says 7, and the young ladies told them 7. Yes. So if they come back, they should be charged.
Yes, and we have with that, persons are buying vehicles, and sometimes the owners retain their numbers. And they leave the number plate on the vehicles or what's not, because probably was a sticker number plate, or they're probably going to do their own number plate for their new vehicle. So they leave the number plates on the vehicles that they retain for themselves. That new owner has to get a new number plate. But because persons want to be negligent, they don't want to go and license the vehicle one time and insure it, they continue driving that vehicle with the previous number on it and thinking that it's okay. It's not. It's illegal.
Wait. I am a tad. Okay, so I'm 911. So I want to keep 911, but I left 911 on the vehicle that I sold to you, Officer Bell.
Probably, yeah, because it was probably a sticker number plate. So if you pull it off, you're going to pull off the paint sometimes. Yeah. So you tell the person, when they're going to change it, they just either put a number plate over it, or they do whatever body works they need to do. So you didn't take it off. You sold the vehicle. You have the number to you legally because of the registration at the traffic department. But you just left on the physical number plate on that vehicle that you sold. And the new owner now driving with that number plate. Yes. And then you see it and you want to know, well, I have 911. Why is this vehicle still driving with 911 on it?
So when I buy a vehicle,
yes,
do I have to change the number?
No.
Because
you don't have
You
to.
don't have to. It's a
Some
choice.
People choose to change their number.
But the fact that you say I leave on my number, but I still want the number. So do I have to say, Officer Bell, I intend to retain 911?
Yes,
Can
there's
you
an
give
option.
the person a new number?
Yes, that is an option on the registration.
Okay.
Yes, but
some people keep on the license plate.
The physical number plate.
So they can drive the
Move
vehicle.
around, yes.
To inland revenue, to inspect and all of that, so
Yes.
they can do their stuff, right? But the person, sometimes the person who bought the vehicle don't remove the license plate or go and get a new one.
So whose responsibility is it to give the new owner of the vehicle a new number?
the traffic department, they would give them on a registration paper. They would have to go and buy their own license plate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
But a number would be assigned to them.
Okay, so they don't
Yes.
necessarily have to keep my
No.
911. Okay.
No. It's your choice if you want to sell it with the number or if you wish to retain that number.
But should the previous owner of the vehicle, inform traffic that I intend to keep my number so that
That option.
in a way to ensure that that person does not have my number and drive around with it after an extended period of time?
That option would be done at the traffic department because we do the registration. The Inland Revenue just collect the taxes.
Okay.
We do the registration for the vehicle, all the paperwork that you need to go to Inland Revenue with. When you go to Inland Revenue, that's when you pay to license that registration number that was assigned to you.
Okay.
Yeah, but in terms of taking off the physical number plate off of the vehicle, that onus is on you.
Okay, the new owner.
The new owner, the previous owner and the new owner.
Okay, got you.
Okay, when the vehicle is down for a period of time, right, sometimes the insurance and stuff expires, right, the license done up, you're supposed to come to the traffic department, get a permission to move the vehicle from point A to point B. Right? We give you a period of time to move the vehicle so they can inspect it, right? And then they put on the new license plate and they drive the vehicle from you after they're done the insurance. Right? Because you have to inspect the vehicle for Inland Revenue to see that the vehicle will pass the inspection to allow you to drive on the road.
Okay.
Yes, but with that leeway, we always have problems also, because that permission would only permit you to drive for 2 hours. That's to get from point A to point B. It doesn't take 2 hours from nowhere in St. Kitts to reach to an inspector. Okay, so we give you 2 hours to reach from point A to point B to get your vehicle inspected. But that permission would only be granted if you have valid insurance for that vehicle. Persons come and they ask for the permission and they use that to drive up and down during the day to make the runs, and then the next week.
You tell them the time?
Yes,
No,
we
okay.
always tell them.
Okay.
And then next week they come back and they say they need another permission because they didn't get to do whatever and whatever. And that's where you say you give them an inch and they take a mile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are aware of all these foul plays.
Are there fines attached to these foul plays?
If you're caught driving the vehicle outside of the period of time that we gave you, because it would be written, you have to produce that physical document that we gave you and we stamped, and it would have on the time in it. And if it is altered, an officer's signature should be there. And if that officer's signature is not there, then we would see that the person is doing it themselves. And that's another charge. That's a criminal charge now.
Has somebody ever been that brave?
I have not encountered anything like that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So anything else to add?
I don't know if the sergeant wishes to add anything to clear up. That's the expert.
No, I'm not. Also, we talk about vehicles that are down waiting pad. If somebody travel overseas and the vehicle is parked up, but it must be parked up in a parking lot, a garage or a private land, not on the government road, for to get the exemption or the waiver.
Okay.
So once you're overseas and you notify the traffic department that I am overseas on whatever, when time to license the vehicle, and you're overseas, you have to bring some kind of proof. Not just telling us that I was overseas. we must see proof that you're overseas and the vehicle was parked up in my garage or parked up on a private land and it wasn't running. Okay. Then you'll get waiver also for that. So it's not just done for broken down vehicle that are waiting part or mechanical problem. Okay. And as the officer said, make sure when you're coming, you make sure you walk with your valid insurance. If you sell a vehicle to me, I cannot use your insurance. Some persons think, okay, because my insurance is valid and you transfer a vehicle to me, I can use it. No. No. Because that's an offense. You can be charged for permitting someone to drive the vehicle without insurance, or because remember the person's name is not going to be on that insurance. Yeah. Your name must be on the insurance to drive someone's vehicle. Or I have one say any driver.
So what if we're just exchanging a vehicle today, right? I needed to go get insurance prior to today to drive that vehicle.
Yes.
Because it's a new registration, new owner.
Yes, so before you leave from the traffic department, as you said, the traffic wardens will tell you. 7 days. So you leave from here, you go to the insurance, insure the vehicle, get it inspected, and then you go to Inland Revenue and you pay.
Okay. Okay.
So you have to cancel your insurance.
The person that's selling?
Yes.
Okay.
Some person think because the insurance is valid for some time, I can use it. No.
Okay, understood.
Yes, and Sarge, I would just like you to explain the different ways that they could report to the traffic department that the vehicle is down, awaiting.
You can call. We can take the information and put it in the book. You could walk in. You have a form that you fill out, and you place it there. Or if you can write, you can also write a letter and bring it. We'll put it in the form in the folder. So you can walk in. You have a form to fill out, and you can also write something, or you can send an email.
A notarized letter.
You can send an email to say that your vehicle is down, or I'm overseas on business, and I won't be back until after the licensing date.
And then when you get back, you bring proof that you were overseas. Yes. Okay.
The same thing with persons trying to renew their driver's license. If they're overseas for a period of time, they must provide proof to show that they were not on island. And that is the reason why they did not renew their driver's license in that time. Because if you have a driver's license since 2001, you went away and you didn't renew it since, you come to St. Kitts now and you're trying to renew your license, you would have to pay those fees unless you provide proof to show that you were not on island.
24 years of fees?
Yes.
Wow.
So you just divide that by every 3 years that you would have to be renewing your license.
So once I have proof, I wouldn't have to pay those fees?
No. You will get you come to traffic again, and you get a waiver.
Okay, so I just bring my documentation that I've been residing, let's say, the U.S. for
Yes.
so long. And
Yes.
All right.
So we're not just here trying to take money from the poor. We're trying to help also.
Okay.
But as I say, when you give people an inch, they take a mile, so we have to have restrictions with those waivers.
Understood.
Yes.
All right.
And we can only give up to 11 months on the waiver. So if your vehicle is down for 2 years, you'll just start from the previous year. It won't go back. So when you come, say your number is 6. You didn't get the license in June, so now you're coming in April. So it's June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. About 8 months. And then so you'll just be paying from April to June. And then after June, you're going to pay the full year. Yeah, so you pay April, May, June, 3 months. You pay 3 months for 2025.
I'm paying twice.
Oh, but you're paying less. You're paying 3 months in 2025 because April to June is 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Instead of paying from June last year.
Okay, all right, I got you.
So you pay 3 months this year, from April to June 2025. Then when June now, you go back, June month end, and you pay from June 2025 to June 2026. Yes.
Why still paying twice?
Yeah, but you're paying less. It is less.
A reduced price.
Yes. It is less.
A discount. A discount.
It's right, it's not the fully as Councilman Nisbet said.
Alright. Alright, lady and gentlemen. Anything before we officially wrap up the program this morning?
One more thing I want to say this morning before I leave. I'm asking the driving public, please to adhere to the traffic signs, especially those by the traffic lights. We are having so much problem, especially the one just out here by Sands. Persons are coming from the post office and turning right into Port Zante.
But we're not supposed to do that.
It's not, because they are signed there saying
No right turn.
Yeah.
And persons are still doing it, especially the taxi drivers.
Oh boy.
Yes. In one day, a traffic warden gave 8 tickets. 8. And it's not foreigners, are local persons.
Yep.
Yeah, you would expect the foreigners not
We-
to know,
we-
but then still there are signs that
Yeah.
Yeah, the
and
signs.
almost all of us could read.
But there are local persons.
We're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
We can only go in there left when we're coming up. Not supposed to turn across. Anyways, give them the tickets.
We
As long
even
as they're
get
not
we even
listening.
get accidents there, and that is considered reckless driving because you're cutting across somebody's right away, and persons come down there at a good speed.
Yeah, because they're trying to be
persons
polite
may
too.
be passing, not expecting anybody to make a right turn because they're not supposed to, and then you have this off-guard collision. Sometimes people could get injured because you're crossing the way of somebody's traveling on the right away.
Yeah, we're not
And the
listening.
drivers will be charged for reckless driving
They don't
because they failed to comply with the traffic sign.
And that's what I'm saying. The signs are there. They're clear. Oh boy.
Sometimes persons say, "Well, nothing coming down. We can
Yeah, they
make
want
the
to take a
turn."
chance.
Yeah.
People like to take a chance, you know.
But when they're supposed to take the chance, they're not taking it, right? Because if you watch the traffic lights, there are certain traffic lights have an arrow, right? And there's also a green light,
Yes.
right? When the arrow is off, the green light is still showing that you can go. But you can go when there's nothing coming from the opposite direction. But they're still going to wait for the arrow to come back up. And that is when you're supposed to take the chance and go, right? Not when nobody watching, right? The green light is there because you have the 2 green lights.
Yeah.
One telling the person to go straight,
Yeah.
and one telling you
Like the ones
you
up
can
the
go
road.
up. Like you can
Yeah.
turn up to
Yeah.
4th Street,
Yeah.
right? But you're gonna steady in the stop, wait for the hour to come back on. But the green light is on all the time, right? And nothing
And
is
it's
coming
coming.
from the opposite direction.
But some people extra cautious, though, officer.
No, but
So they
that's
prefer to go on the arrow.
The green mean go.
I know, but they still
Right.
prefer to go on the arrow.
But then, in St. Kitts, right, it seems like people don't understand the lights properly, right? Green mean go, yellow mean proceed with caution, red means stop.
Totally.
Right? In St. Kitts, it seems like yellow mean speed up, right? I don't understand why, right? 'Cause if you travel overseas and you speed up and stuff,
Problems.
it's a serious problem. St. Kitts traffic is not that fast, right? But I don't know why people just mean they go run the light. Yellow, oh, yellow coming, boom, try to catch the red light. I don't understand why.
Yes,
right? And then when you're there in the green light, the arrow come off, but the green light on.
And you stay.
Nothing coming in the opposite direction, but you ain't gonna move. Right? Why?
I don't understand the human brain. How it works. I don't understand.
No,
Oh,
but
boy.
even the light, right? You want to go up to 4th Street. We see it a lot.
You're
Down
going
to the
across?
bottom and up to the top of 4th Street. They know they cannot make the space
Yeah.
to allow other vehicles to come out of 4th Street, but they're gonna still come across the road. If it's yellow and the space is not there, you're gonna cause an obstruction. Stay in the spot, right, and allow the people to come out of 4th Street or come down from up Victoria Road. Not try to run the light and then you block up the road and then you're free to watch the people them down 4th Street because you know what you did and you know it's wrong.
That's why they start and emphasize on courteous drivers.
Yeah.
We need courteous drivers because you can't. The traffic is blocked up ahead of you. You don't realize the traffic is not even moving 5 miles per hour or even 2. It's go stop, go stop. You're already yellow. You know by the time the red come on, you're not even going to pass it. But you walk out, you don't pass the white line, so you're going to continue and go. And then by the time the green light is now for the other traffic, nobody could move. So they're gonna be there lined up, and another traffic gonna come up behind them, and they're lined up, waiting for this green light again. Sometimes the green light come twice, and you're still there in front of them.
Like on the afternoons, I don't know if this is something that the traffic department can work on at 4 o'clock. If persons are going up Keon Street, like you go head into the hospital, it's blocked. So if the light comes on for the persons coming up 4th Street to be let out, they can't go left nor right because cars are there.
Yeah, that is what we're speaking about, and
So I don't know if
this
somebody
cars
could be there
personal.
that hour to stop them. It's something you guys can work on. Some of you guys can work on. Yeah, because it needs somebody there. Yeah, but then you have to take that. Well, for the part B, I'm begging you because people can't come out. They can't come out. Nobody can go left. Nobody can go right. And then when the light move again, instead of that person that's coming up, stay behind that white line and just let that move. The traffic moves. They're gonna come up as well, saying, "Oh, I have right to move across too." So then nobody gets to moving.
St. Kitts don't have courteous drivers. Everybody drive for themselves, right?
St. Kitts, we don't want to hear that. So we have to improve. We have to
drive
improve.
for themselves,
Oh,
right? Because when you're not in a hurry, you stop to talk to people while traffic behind you, and all these things. And as soon as you're in a hurry and somebody
You make
do
noise,
that,
yeah.
you make noise.
Mhm.
Sometimes you want to come out and fight and create problems, right? But you're doing
Sad
it.
how we
right?
move.
So you
Yeah.
need to treat others as you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the problem we have. We don't concern about anybody else other than ourselves.
Ourselves, yeah, that's true.
Right? So
Oh boy. Well, officers, thank you. It's always a pleasure having you in the studios, educating the masses, including myself. And I hope we would have listened. I must say, last week I went up to the traffic department and I was so proud to hear someone say, "Oh, I heard my husband's vehicle down, and I heard him say he heard y'all talking about it this morning, and I came up to do something about it." So the lady gave her the form to fill out, and then she told her it's going to go in the book. So folks, we appreciate you listening.
Yes.
We appreciate you taking the advice of the authorities above us. Remember, they're here to help us, so let us work with them. As they said, they would have noticed we are not courteous. Let us prove them wrong. Going forward, let's be courteous. Let's remember, yellow is not speed up. Yellow is to proceed cautiously or wait and stop. And when the green is on, once nothing is coming, you may proceed. Okay? So let's be good people today. And at the 4 o'clock hour, please do not block the junction of 4th Street. Let's stay behind the white, and let's ensure that the traffic flows smoothly.
Yes.
From the South, 98.9 WINN FM.
Tune in to Creative Voices, the ultimate radio call-in program where innovation meets inspiration. Join me, Dr. Sarah Owen, as I welcome brilliant Caribbean creatives and innovators for engaging sessions that promise to spark your creativity. Don't miss this unique opportunity to interact with our guests, ask your burning questions, and gain insights that could elevate your own creative endeavors. Tune in every other Friday from 10 a.m. to midday. Get inspired. Let your voice be heard. Mark your calendars and prepare to embark on a journey of creativity and innovation with Creative Voices.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parents that gave them life. Children are happiest when they can freely communicate and enjoy the time, talents, and lessons that each parent brings to the relationship.
We make co-parenting difficult when we focus on differences rather than what is in the best interest of our children. Parents, your relationship with each other should never affect the relationship you have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on WINN Media 98.9.
11. You hear? Oh. When you're discussing something and you get caught off guard. So I'm going to play some of the clip of PM Mia Mottley's urgent warning to the Caribbean concerning the trade wars and the tariffs and everything else. Just give me 1 second.
Trade war has officially reached our shores, bringing with it rising costs, disrupted supply chains, and economic uncertainty.
These are largely reliant on imports. These are among the most challenging of times for our region, since the majority of our members gained their independence. Indeed, it is the most difficult period our world has faced since the end of World War II, 80 years ago. Our planet faces a climate catastrophe that worsens every year. We have a cost of living crisis that has been bedeviling us since the disruption of supply chains when the COVID-19 pandemic triggered the shutdown of the majority of countries. Misinformation, disinformation, and manipulation are running rampant. The mental health crisis is causing hopelessness among many of our young people. And regrettably, crime and fear is on the rise. We are fighting wars in the Holy Land, in Europe, and in Africa. Countries are distrustful of countries, and neighbors are distrustful of neighbors. The international order and the international system, my friends, is in grave danger of collapse. And now, we are on the precipice of a global trade war. Our Caribbean economies are largely reliant on imports. Just go to the supermarket or visit the mall or the hardware shop or the electronics store and you will see that most of the things there are not produced in this region. Many of those commodities are either purchased directly from the United States of America or pass through the United States of America on their way to the Caribbean region. That, my friends, is a legacy of our colonial dependence. Together with colleague heads of state and heads of government, we have been working to diversify ourselves away from this dependence. We've already started to reap some successes, especially in the field of agriculture, for example, but we still have a long way to go. As we do this work, we have to be mindful that those recent announcements that have been made in the last few days will impact us very directly as a region and as a Caribbean people. We are working and will continue to work to become more self-sufficient. But I want every Caribbean man and every Caribbean woman to hear me. This trade war and the possibility of a $1 million to $1.5 million US levy on all Chinese-made entering US harbors will mean higher prices for all of us at the corner shop, higher prices at the supermarket, higher prices at the electronics store, higher prices for us at the shop, higher prices for us at the restaurant, higher prices for us at the car dealership and beyond. A lot of Caribbean people will think that these things that you are seeing on television news or reading about are far away and they don't impact on me. A lot of people think I'm just a farmer, or I'm just a school teacher, or I'm just a mechanic. They say, I live in St. Lucie in Barbados, or I live in Portmore in Jamaica, or Kingstown in St. Vincent, or Rima in Trinidad, or Basse-Terre in St. Kitts, or San Ignacio in Belize. These problems are far away from me and they don't impact me. That is what you will hear them say. But the reality, my friends, is that if you buy food, if you buy electronics, if you buy clothes, it will impact you. It will impact each of us. My brothers and sisters, our Caribbean economies are not very large. So we are and have always been at the whims of global prices. If Europe and China and the US and Canada and Mexico are all putting tariffs on each other, that is going to disrupt supply chains. That is going to raise the cost of producing everything from the food you eat, to the clothes on your back, to the phone in your pocket, to the car you drive down the road, to the spare parts that you need for critical infrastructure. That means higher prices for all of us to pay. And sadly, yes, this will impact all of you, regardless of what any of our Caribbean governments will do. We could lower our tariffs to zero in CARICOM, and it will not make a lick of difference because our economies are small and vulnerable. This crisis, my friends, will impact not only goods, but it may also have a large spillover effect on tourism. We suggest that the region take steps to sustain tourism industry, as likely worsening conditions in many of our source markets will have negative impacts on people's ability to travel. We call on our regional private sector and the tourism sector to come together and to work with governments to collaborate for an immediate tourism strategy to ensure that we maintain market share numbers as a region. My friends, I pray that I am wrong, and I'm praying that cooler heads prevail across the world and leaders come together in a new sense of cooperation to look after the poor and the vulnerable people of this world, and to leave space for the middle classes to chart their lives, to allow businesses to be able to get on with what they do and to trade. But truly, I do not have confidence that this will happen. So what must we do? First, we must re-engage urgently, directly, and at the highest possible level with our friends in the United States of America. There is an obvious truth which has to be confronted by both sides. That truth is that these small and micro states of the Caribbean do not in any way or in any sector enjoy a greater degree of financial benefit in the balance of trade than does the United States. In fact, it is because of our small size, our great vulnerability, our limited manufacturing capacity, our inability to distort trade in any way, that successive United States administrations, including and most recently the Reagan administration in the early 1980s, went to great lengths to assist us in promoting our abilities to sell in the United States under the Caribbean Basin Initiative. We will see how these tariffs will impact on that. That spirit of cooperation largely enabled security, social stability, and economic growth on America's third border in the Caribbean, or as we have agreed as recently in our meeting with Secretary of State Rubio, what is now our collective neighborhood. Secondly, we must not fight among each other for political gain, because my dear brothers and sisters, as the old adage goes, united we stand and divided we fall. Thirdly, we must redouble our efforts to invest in Caribbean agricultural production and light manufacturing. The 25 by 2025 initiative, ably led by President Ali, seems too modest a target now, given all that we are confronting. We must grow our own and produce our own as much as possible. We can all make the decision to buy healthy foods at the market instead of processed foods at the supermarket. Fourthly, we must build our ties with Africa, Central and Latin America, and renew those ties with some of our older partners around the world, in the United Kingdom and Europe, in Canada. We must not rely solely on one or two markets. We need to be able to sell our Caribbean goods to a wider, more stable global market. My brothers and sisters, in every global political and economic crisis, there is always an opportunity. If we come together, put any divisions aside, support our small businesses and small producers, we will come out of this stronger. To our hoteliers, our supermarkets, and our people, my message is the same. Buy local and buy regional. I repeat, buy local and buy regional. The products are better, fresher, and more competitive in many instances. If we work together and strengthen our own, we can ride through this crisis. We may have to confront issues of logistics and movement of goods, but we can do that too. To the United States, I say, this simply, we are not your enemy. We are your friends. So many people in the Caribbean region have brothers and sisters, aunties, uncles, grandmothers, grandfathers, sons and daughters, godchildren, living up in Miami or Queens or Brooklyn or New Jersey, Connecticut, Virginia, wherever. We welcome your people to our shores and give them the holidays, and for many of them, the experiences of a lifetime. I say simply to President Trump, our economies are not doing your economy any harm in any way. They are too small to have any negative or distorting impact on your country. So I ask you to consider your decades-long friendship between your country and ours, and look to the Caribbean, recognizing that the family ties, yes, are strong. Let us talk, I hope, and let us work together to keep prices down for all of our people. My brothers and sisters, there's trouble in our Caribbean waters, but the responsibility each and every day for much of what we do and much of what we grow must be ours. If we take care of each other, if we support each other, if we uplift each other, and if we tap into the strength and innovation of our common Caribbean spirit, we will see this through. Our forefathers faced tribulations far worse than we will ever do. And yes, they came through it. My friends, my brothers and sisters, we can make it. We shall make it. God bless our Caribbean civilization. Thank you.
The message is clear. This isn't business as usual.
So I look at it and I said, why is it we could not have been doing this all the time amongst ourselves, right? Amongst ourselves, I'm sure we do some, but why did it have to come to this for us to realize that this is what's important for us as well?
Because unfortunately our leaders don't listen to its people.
The people?
Yeah. Since way back, as far back as I can recall, I've heard people saying over and over, let's plant food, let's learn to trade amongst each other, and they're just business as usual.
Yeah, and as she rightfully said, buy local, because when I look at the tomatoes that are local, and if there's none, let's say there's no local tomatoes, so I have to buy the international tomatoes. But then there are local tomatoes, so what I do, I buy the international ones and I buy the local ones. And in a day or two, the international ones are dead, the dents are coming, the white mold is coming, and I have, and as Troy admonished me last week to not put it in the fridge, I still have my tomatoes that are local, that are still going. Good morning. You're live on Island Tea. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and you guys?
We're doing okay, thanks.
We're okay.
Okay. Now, y'all are saying exactly what I was calling to say. How long have you been hearing them? It's only when something come up they talk about sustainability. Do you need Trump to say this or say that to anybody? Let's even forget about Trump. as a country, don't you think you should be sustaining yourself long time? I mean, especially in our country, we talk about fertile soil. Okay, sugar shutdown. You would think the next thing that they should go straight directly into is agriculture, right?
Yeah.
And get agriculture booming. But that's not what they're interested in. It's just they trying around the word sustainability, and you can't even feed yourself. You gotta wait for a boat to come from Dominica. You gotta wait for a boat to come from here, a boat to come from there. And we boast about fertile soil, sounding so stupid, and we can't feed ourselves. Make no sense.
That's rough. Those words you just say, it's rough, but it's true. Yeah, it's so true. But as I said, when we had the federal minister, something about agriculture seemed to be getting up there. Because as we see, we have the Guyanese and the other farmers that live in Nevis that has agriculture booming over there. But to me, when it was federal, things look like they were on the rise. I don't know. What?
I mean, they talk about sustainability and stuff, but they had 300 cars and one tractor enter the country the other day. Where is the equipment for farming? 300 vehicle cars, but one tractor. But yet we're going to sustain ourselves. Yeah, right. Nothing but talk.
See, we're in real trouble. Guys. We're in real trouble. Yeah. Oh boy, thank you for your contribution as usual. But we really have just one tractors?
No, we
Give
have...
me one tractors too. Do we really just have one tractor that's needing to go to 300 different places?
No, she was just using in terms of imported at the time, I guess. I think that is what she was implying.
Oh boy.
But still, if you use her example, if you use her reference as an example, it's still valid because 300 and something cars, but not one agricultural equipment or not two, you understand? So it's still applicable that our priorities seem to be all
in the wrong place.
Wrong.
Yeah, so we got more cars than tractors.
So when Mayor Motley speaks, it seems as if though she's still expecting the United States State Department and the United States system to be sympathetic. But at the same time, earlier she said she doesn't hold any hope that things will change. So it's sort of an oxymoron, sort of a contradicting statement, which brings us back to the question you asked. Weren't you hearing this over and over? Why is it so? Why is it so important now as opposed to before? Hello, caller.
No, when I said 300 cars and one tractor, I mean literally. That's what came in. Not pretending or making it sound like anything, but that's exactly, literally, 300 cars, one tractor.
Okay.
Have a good day.
All right, thank you for the clarification.
Thanks for making it clear. So that cements the point, you know. 300 cars on one tractor. Yeah. And our leaders consistently speak about sustainability and getting the country and economy up for the future. How could that be?
I went to the supermarket. It was last Monday night, and to see how the shelves, especially at the fruit areas where most of the imported fruits are, it was empty.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was like, I shouldn't say I was shocked. I was like, it's really happening.
Yeah.
That was my sentiment. Not one of shock, but it's happening.
And I was listening to a news item this morning right here when I came in on WINN FM, and someone internally, it seemed, was expressing his concern about how the tariffs are going to affect the price on the shelves. He says it's going to be prices piled upon prices, you know. So I don't see any relief in the near future. It might sound kind of repetitive or redundant to say it, but better late than never. Let's start doing something serious about agriculture. Let's start seeing cultivation and planting and what do they plowing up the fields.
I was just gonna say, what about the cows and the old time way that they did it? Like in Ghana, I used to see these men have the cows in the fields.
Well,
and
nobody's
the cows
gonna
pulling.
go back. Nobody's gonna go
Hello,
back to
but
that.
what if that's what it takes? One tractor can't go to everybody. If that's the case, why we can't do it ourselves? Imagine I used to watch my dad farm and dig up with his shovel and his fork, and these people did their hard work and they reaped the fruits of their labor.
It depends on the size of the land. You're hearing farmers say they have like 11 acres and that is a lot of land. You understand? You're good.
I understand, but how the elders got it to work? And we know they still work those big fields with the sweet potato and the pumpkin and all those things that they work over Sadlers and in Newton Ground and in St. Paul's. How did they get those big lands worked? And they didn't have the fancy tractors then, Patrick.
Whatever the elders did back then is not applicable now. It's just not applicable.
It's tougher? You want to say the soil is tougher?
No, people are not going to. Who are you going to get to go and do this by hand?
Well, if push comes to shove, we're going to have to stop. We have to do something else, man.
Well, if push come to shove, I guess we'll be forced to. But under normal circumstances,
well, we gotta be forced.
No one.
We're seeing that we can't. We don't have enough. We're seeing enough is not coming. Are we gonna sit there and starve? We're not gonna go help each other in like long time. We're not gonna put the.
If they get a few tractors and they plow the land, the planting can go on.
Okay, so we need more tractors, y'all.
Yes.
The powers that be.
More, yeah. Okay, let's take a bit of a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
Unlock the secrets to a healthier you. Join Dr. Natalie Osborne every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on WINN FM 98.9 for Weekly Dose. During this 30-minute health discussion, we aim to educate and empower our listeners on the prevention of diseases, early diagnosis, and timely intervention. Don't miss out on this informative health talk where we teach you to live your best life. Weekly Dose, Tuesdays on WINN FM 98.9.
Let's stop child sexual abuse. The age of consent is 16, yet our 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, and 10-year-olds are becoming victims of sexual abuse and exploitation, which is being forced into sexual activity before they are old enough to decide. This causes mental, emotional, and physical harm to our children. Parents, it is your responsibility to protect and to educate your children. Develop a relationship of trust with your child. If they trust you, they will tell you. Child sexual abuse cannot be our norm. We must work together to correct this. Help us prevent, help us protect, help us prosecute. A message by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on WINN Media 98.9.
Okay, we're back. The time is 9:37, and I was saying to Cortencia, fortunately, I grew up in a sort of a farming family, you know. Way back when I was very, very young, maybe about 5 or 6 or thereabout, living in a place called Trafalgar up there in the village. I'm going to give you a scenario of how it was done and why it is not applicable today. The first thing, because you had extensive lands to cultivate, practically the entire family took part. You had mother, father, maybe 2 uncles, an aunt, and all the kids would be getting up 4 o'clock in the morning. That's the first thing that makes it not applicable. You're not going to get children to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. That's long before the sun comes up. When you have some twilight and moonlight and that kind of stuff, and you get yourself up to the hills, and that was the hills there just above Shadwell. Shadwell, you see those mountains up there? We'd get up there and start to. The older ones will start to hoe and weed and that kind of stuff. When you went up there 4 o'clock in the morning, you did not leave until the sun was beginning to go down. And you ate your lunch, breakfast, lunch, and everything there. And you practically lived off of what you grew. We did not eat, we did not have chocolates and there was a soda biscuit that you used to get in some big pans, big pans, and maybe you would have a few of those. But everything else that you ate was from the ground, whether it was yam, dasheen, tanya, kush yam, and so many things that I've forgotten now. Your fruits we had a lot of fruits. And plums, grapes, guavas, those cashew nut cherries, the cherry the big cherry that grows on the cashew nut tree. People only see the nut. But there's a big cherry that could grow as big as your fist or even
I know that
bigger.
one. It has a kind of a spicy smell.
That's acidic kind of and we lived off the land. So
we don't have anything now, we don't even have fruit trees in our yard.
Let's see if we can take this caller. Hello?
Yes, Quinn.
Yes.
We really grew up in the same village, because Quinn, I was calling to say the same thing you are saying. I was calling to say when I was growing up, we used to eat fruits on our way to school, eat fruits on our way coming back, fruits all around us. Now today, where is the fruit? Where are the fruit trees?
I saw a gooseberry tree just between the streets there, between Convent, and I was amazed. And the fruit on that gooseberry tree is looking good. Hi.
You're talking gooseberry. When I was growing up, we eat mango on our way to school, mango coming home. Cherry on our way to school, cherry coming home.
Green gooseberry going.
Walking from Connery to Bastille, we eat food on our way to and from school, going up factory.
We went into everybody's yard coming down those factory road.
Exactly.
Yep.
No, you can't even, the kids today are not even growing up. They're not getting the same fruits that we grow up on because we don't have any. I don't think like we plant, we don't cultivate.
Exactly.
We don't do anything.
And even
have no fruits anymore.
Mangoes?
There's some fruits There's some fruits, but here's what I see happening. It seems as if though, I know when you're going certain places, you see certain people's property and they have guava trees and apple trees, but nobody eats them. It's like people are ashamed. It's like people now are ashamed to go in their yard and pick their own fruits and eat them. You know,
my goodness.
They prefer to go to the supermarket and pick up the apples and the you know, and so forth.
Buy all the stuff that's full of nothing but chemical.
Yeah.
Full of nothing but chemical.
Oh.
Because up here, let me tell you, they have a number on the fruit. If it's a 4, it's manufactured. If it's a 9, then they call that organic. So when we go in the store, we look at the number that starts with the bar number on the fruit.
Oh wow!
So you know whether you get the real thing or the manufactured one.
But even when they say it's organic, you're not sure if it.
Exactly. Even that you gotta be leery too because look, me, people. You know, sometimes I say I long to go home and eat some real fruit, but when I'm home, I barely see any.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is so sad. I barely see any. When last anybody see a marker? When last anybody see a stinking toe? When last anybody see a manticore?
Yeah, we grew up on those. Yeah.
Golden apple.
A shaddock.
Yes, a shaddock.
Oh boy. Plenty memories. As I told you, when I saw that gooseberry tree and right now it's in bloom, I'd be like, oh my gosh, look at this. What about the, as we call them, 5-finger or the carambola fruit?
Yeah.
That's what we call the stinking toe, right?
No, stinking toe is the one in the brown shell that you have to break out with the stone.
The locust,
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Imagine we broke out things with stone, dirty stones that we didn't even think that could cause us any harm.
A lot of those stinking toe are still up at the Governor General's property, you know. That land has a lot of maca trees on it. Of stinking trees on it, sorry. Yeah.
I tell you, we need to cultivate because there's coming a time we think things rough now. Things gonna get worse.
Yep.
The Bible is going to get worse. It's not gonna get any better because it's gonna be every man, every nation for themselves.
Yeah.
So let's stop talk about sustainable. Let's stop talk about our fertile land and use the land. Do something about it. Stop sounding stupid, ministers.
Yeah.
And use the land. Use the fertile land. That's what we need to do. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah.
You too.
Hello,
Thank
caller.
you for your contribution.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, go
Hi,
ahead.
good morning.
Yeah, Quint, man, you just took me back with that conversation you had, man. You know, some of these youngsters don't know nothing about this stuff, man.
You know?
That cherry that you talk about, man.
Yeah.
Man, I used to kill that as a kid, man. You know, my grandfather willed down a piece of property in Cotton Ground.
Yeah.
Down the line.
Mm.
And right now, I'm in full control of it, folks.
Yeah.
And the spot used to have so much fruits, man. You remember them gut plump, man? Gut plump?
Yeah.
The orange plums?
Yeah.
Gut plumps. They had gut plumps. They had so much variety of mangoes up there, man. They had 2 oven mangoes.
Yeah.
Teresa mangoes. You know such names as mangoes, man?
Yeah.
Teresa mangoes. They got mangoes named after ladies.
Yeah.
Teresa and
Polly.
they have a mango they call
Polly.
oven. Polly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It was. Let me give you an idea how much fruits we had up in that property. They had guineas. They still got guineas right now.
Yeah.
Mangoes.
Yeah.
The Rombal mango tree that was there when I was a kid, it still stands there.
Okay.
And we had guineas, Rombal mango. We have mangoes, soursop.
Sugar apple.
You know, sugar apple, gut plums.
Yeah.
Them same cherries that you talk about. Tangerines.
Tangerines.
Man, come on, man.
Shaddock, fat pork.
A lot of, yep, shaddock. Shaddock is a fruit that I can't see that nowhere.
Yeah, like a big orange.
That's one fruit I don't see in the USA, man.
Yeah.
I've seen grapefruit and oranges and other stuff, but Like, shut up, I don't see it here. But anyway, man, coming up to the sugarcane, industry, our leaders didn't have no plan for them lands, man. And that's where we started going wrong.
Yeah.
First of all, we lost the will. We could have produced all them crops for the slave masters, but we can't produce that for ourselves.
That's
man.
a good point.
And then when we come out of slavery, we were lucky to put our hands on those lands, and then now we're giving the lands back to those foreign rich people.
Yeah.
And one thing that's the sugarcane lands was sold out. No plan for it. Now, on the Nevis anvil, there is a push on the Nevis side. There's a realtor company on the Nevis side that's trying to get their hands on them lands on the south side of Nevis. And I'm telling Nevis people, man, they need to be in the street protesting against that. They need to not let that happen. Look at what we're talking about right now, bro. Look at what we're talking about right now. And that area of Nevis, man, is so vast that that's a big chunk of the lands in Nevis. If those lands goes into foreign hands, you could kiss all this stuff goodbye, bro.
And in terms of that land you're speaking about, I understand that land is they want to sell it to some company that deals with Bitcoin, and it's supposed to be a gated community where blacks will only go in if you're going to clean or do landscaping and that kind of stuff. And I can't believe that our leaders, and one of the four names, which I'm not going to call, but you know that name, who is him and his wife are trying to get those lands so that they can sell them to foreigners. Would you imagine that? Could you imagine that?
And when you look at it, right, Cortese read something coming from him, right? And if he really cared, bro, he won't be putting out no release like that. Because you're putting out the release like that talking about agriculture and how stuff is now, but yet still you got knowledge about what's going on, about the lands they're trying to capture the lands, sell out the lands.
Yeah.
But what a double-edged dose is that, man? That's hypocrisy, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
You're talking about one thing, and then you're a part of another thing. And the people of Nevis and the wider federation, they got to stand up, man. If they don't stand up, man, the status quo remains.
And this is
agriculture. Go ahead.
This is the major problem that we are faced with in our region as a people, where the people know what we want, but our leaders seem to be fighting completely against what the people want. The leaders seem to be only concerned about filling their pockets, becoming rich, and not understanding that in the future, when, let's use a scenario and say you have 5 politicians who are rich and wealthy in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the masses, everybody else is poor, apart from the rich so-called investors. What will those 5 politicians be able to do then? Nothing, because they will be a minority, and the rich will just dictate, do this and do that, and we're jumping through hoops. And they seem always to be heading down that path. Yeah, go ahead.
I totally agree with you, and I totally agree with you. And in that scenario, that means St. Kitts and Nevis is going to end up like Haiti if it's not there already.
Oh no!
You know what I'm saying? The oligarchs is going to control St. Kitts and Nevis. We are going to end up there. If we don't stand up against this stuff right now, we're going to end up there. Believe that. The people of Nevis need to stand up against those lands, because as they're taking away the lands to extend the airport, if that works with that airport project, they're going to move on over to that South lands in Nevis. And I'm going to tell you, Quinn, you know one of the things that they're trying to do, that they're going to do? They're going to take those lands for the people and say they're going to cry eminent domain. That's the way. They already have plans to do that, but the Nevis people don't know what's going on in Nevis.
Yeah.
They got plans to take away the lands from those people on the south side through eminent domain. And we got to stand up. And last point I want to make is, if our leaders totally have failed us, because we didn't know we're talking about agriculture. You know how long you just pushed yourself back, how far you have pushed yourself back in this discussion this morning? As a little boy, when you was growing up,
Yeah.
you've been hearing about provide food for yourself.
Yeah,
And
no-
we can't do it up to now.
Huh.
So then, therefore, when the next election comes up, McMahon's idea about replacing them, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and the wider Caribbean, just think about doing that. You keep replacing them until we get what we need and what we deserve. The people them deserve better treatment than this. And concerning the agriculture part of things, in St. Kitts and Nevis, maybe we need to ask the agriculture guys to put their names on the ballots. And maybe this is an idea from myself this morning. This is a new idea. Maybe St. Kitts and Nevis need to put all agriculture candidates and make them, man, the leaders of the country. And then give them a chance and let me see what they're going to do. And if they don't bring the agriculture sector up to speed then we replace them again. But
Yeah.
all those farmers, they need to stop talking and be a part of the political process. And the independent-minded people as well.
Yeah.
That's my contribution for the day, man. Thanks a lot. You guys enjoy the rest of the day.
Same to you. Same to you.
It's funny enough that he spoke in that vein, Quint, because I saw something on Barbados today.
Yeah.
It says residents of the Nelson Street and surrounding communities fear they will soon have to find alternate living spaces. Once multi-million dollar projects planned for this area gets underway. They expressed skepticisms with regards to government assurances that the planned construction of a 360 million African Export-Import Bank, Afrimex Bank Trade Center and a Hyatt Hotel will uplift surrounding communities. Instead, some longtime residents of Nelson Street and its environs told Barbados Today they are convinced their community will undergo gentrification rather than transformation.
Yeah.
One person said, I feel they are going to move out everybody from under there. That's my belief, said one Nelson Street resident relaxing outside his house as he scanned the street he called home for decades. They aren't going to repair no houses and let anybody live out here. They're going to move them out.
Yes.
However, in a recent announcement, Prime Minister Mia Mottley said that the Afrimex Bank will contribute $7 million to a soon-to-be-established urban transformation fund with an additional $2 million pledged by the developers of the Hyatt-centric hotel, bringing the fund to $9 million. The fund, she said, was to support housing, infrastructure upgrades, and community services for city residents near major development sites like Jamot's Lane, where the trade center will rise. But one resident likened the present developments to what he said was past displacement of Church Village residents during the construction of the central bank. When those buildings go up, all 20 stories in the air, those people don't want to look out their windows on no ghetto and rusty roof old houses.
Yeah, that's true.
We can't, and that's true. We can't say. That's why when houses burn down bout here, they say they can't build them back, he said. And even if they're going to rebuild, the houses are real near now. You're going to hear from the fire department that they have to be certain distance apart for safety reasons so everybody can still stay. Indeed, the incoming investment has aroused growing concern that more than just dilapidated buildings and the negative stereotype associated with the area will be erased, but also the people who have lived in the city for years. The name Nelson Street may remain, the residents said, but the people won't. I won't go on because it's a very lengthy one, but that just goes to show.
That is what you... It's funny how development and investment are words used to displace people.
Yeah.
Usually they say, we're going to get some development and then it winds up being displacement. Hello?
Yes, guys. Now, Burl talk about gated community. Gated community sound all nice and fancy and dandy, but I think SK is too small for gated community. Let me tell you, these people come in your country, whether they're white, Chinese, Indian, they come in your country and they put on gated community. What they're doing is snubbing their nose at you. And people think, y'all, we don't know why it is to, what's the word? To feel like discrimination, then you feel discrimination. Because you hear what you say, Quinn? The gated community, the only time the locals will be allowed in is to go do the work.
Yeah.
Go do the dirty work, clean.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you see,
Funny we speaking.
discrimination then starting there.
Yeah. Funny we speak because at the end of that same article that I was reading, it says a resident, the Nelson Street resident speaking to Barbados Today, noted that fiction and fact are hard to separate when history has often confirmed their worst fears. The trade center is going to be like a Vatican, he added. Africans going be in there and we out here. We are going to have to get a pass to go in like how you do at the embassy. And the only jobs local will get are the gardeners, security guards, and maids.
And you see the thing there, Africans, you said. So even affluent Africans will come, invest, and segregate.
Wow.
Could you imagine that?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
What a life.
It's too small for that mess.
But that one that we're reading about?
Girl, we're talking about in St. Kitts or in Nevis about a gated community.
In Nevis.
It's too small for that mess. They're going to come over and you're going to feel some real discrimination where we never feel.
Mm-hmm.
Look, caller, no matter what you say or I say or we say, these things are going to happen. They have happened. I've seen that happen in the U.S. Virgin Islands. There are places where these that are gated.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is that there are even some here, right? And where this is going to be more happening more and more as we move into the future. It seems the inevitable. Sad as it sounds, that seems to be what is going to happen.
That is true, Quint, because you have wishy-washy politicians. I mean, you know, as they have a saying, they get their palm grease, so they don't mind. They don't mind as long as they get their lump sum. They get their little pocket change, their palm grease. So do they care about the average man? No, I don't care. Sell out the country. Sell out everybody. If they could, they would sell us too. Have a good day.
Oh boy.
I mean, one.
Sorry, caller. I thought you had finished.
Oh boy.
So
yeah, it's just rough how we are around these parts, and as people say, history repeats itself.
Yeah.
You say you're gonna put us somewhere, and as the man rightly said, the houses are burning, but you're not allowing us to build back your houses.
Because we don't see any difference in our leaders. Our leaders seem to all want to head down the same path, where it's all about what fills their individual pockets as opposed to what benefits the broader society. That's the trend that we're seeing. It's sad, but that's the way it is. Look at, for instance, we see Trinidad. Trinidad had oil. Trinidad have
oil still.
Yes, have oil. But Guyana always has had. Since we were in school, we studied that Guyana had all kind of minerals and gold, and the people are getting rich out of Guyana. You know, from since we were young, people have been getting filthy rich out, but not the masses. We don't see it now. We don't mind if you say you're making X amount of billions and even going into. If we could see our society moving at a scale from way back then to now, the majority of the people are still living in adverse poverty.
Yeah, because I see there's this gold mining show on Discovery. I see they filmed in Guyana too.
Yeah,
and so I said, I didn't know they were mining gold in my country. So yeah.
They've been mining gold and stuff in Guyana.
Yeah, gold rush, yeah.
Guyana is known in the Caribbean for its gold, you know.
Yeah, gold, bauxite, aluminum.
But I said gold. I said gold because even a lot of business individuals around the region, they will go to Guyana to get Guyana gold. You know,
remember I think that's where they claim El Dorado is? I don't even.
Yeah, well.
The fictional El Dorado. We're still yet to find El Dorado. Yeah, but And look, Trinidad too. Trinidad has asphalt. Trinidad has liquid gold. And why are these countries behind?
Because they sign deal with corporation. They sign deals with corporation who promise all kind of things and say they're going to invest. But when the corporation get there, the corporation works with the government, exempt themselves from almost any kind of taxation and whatever. And the government goes in league with them because they give them perks and they give them, money under the table and so forth. So 10, 15 years down the line, the company benefits, the few individuals in government benefit, but the masses of the people don't benefit. And that is what is happening. And that is why in Africa, though, especially those three countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, we're seeing a difference. People say, they're military governments. But you see their government. The other day I read an article where one of them asks the soldiers to donate X amount of dollars to every student. So every soldier at the end of the month will put a little bit, and it adds up so that the student can, and so many different things. And we are speaking about young individuals who you say are militant and military, but they're doing things that those that have been democratized are not doing.
Yeah, that's
so somehow way along the line, some young individuals were watching what was happening and saying, we're not going to follow that trend, right? Recently, those three are now unifying to get their own bank and their own currency. When you think about the things that they're doing, it is unbelievable, because all across that vast Africa, 54 states, right? 54 countries, and most of them are doing what has been done before. Let the colonialists come, take your wealth, and your people are in poverty. This is going to be the last caller. Oh, we lost that. Caller, okay, let me try again. Hello, caller. You got to have some patience. Yeah, so we're just about 3 minutes after 10. Hello, caller.
Hello, caller.
Hello, Chris.
Yes.
It's the same thing with the hotels. The hotels come in to St. Kitts. They're supposed to pay whatever. What do you call what they're supposed to pay?
I can't even remember the names. Yes. Yeah.
Whatever they're supposed to pay, they don't pay. But during election time, you hear the politicians. Oh, Marriott, I could remember. Marriott, so much of thousands of dollars. Marriott, this and so much amount of money. And we want money. But when we go in, what we do? Give them a pardon, write it off.
Usually it's not the government who say that, it's the opposition. The opposition says, the government has them and they're not paying so and so.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
And then when they get in power, they're silent,
Yes, because during when Unity was campaigning, all you heard was how much Marriott how much money Marriott got for the country. And when they get in, what did Tim do? Tim write it off. He just go, money poof, be gone. We don't need it anymore. No. But when we're opposition, we needed it. The country needed it. If you're with, dear. Father God help us. Yep. Quincy, you guys have a good day. You hear?
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Same old. So we the people have got to expect and see a change, or else it's just going to be the same old.
Over and over, like the man saying Barbados. Fact or fiction is the same thing, and as he said, we're going to end up being needing a pass to go in. We're going to be gardeners, maid, and security.
Yeah.
Well, but politicians will look at it and says we're providing jobs for you. So, to each his own.
Providing jobs at minimum hand-to-mouth wages, while these big corporations
take the lot.
Yeah, big tax benefits and all kind of stuff, and we've got to see an end to this. It just cannot. It is just not right. We've got to see an end to
when
this.
Jesus comes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because for now it's not going to end. It's not going to end at all. Well, Quint, on that note, I enjoyed today.
Yeah, myself too.
But all good things must come to an end, folks. So here's where we're going to close it out for today. Thank you to all our callers. And for those of you who didn't get in, we are going to do it again tomorrow. Feel free to call or share something that you would like us to discuss. So have a...
Well, before we close, we haven't heard Mark Mahan in a while. I hope that he's in good health.
He's doing good.
Mark Mahan, we hope that you're in good health.
And Miss Henry, we didn't hear her at all today.
Yeah, we didn't hear her today, but the last time I was on, she interjected. Okay. She called. Okay. She called to tell me that I was not alone, even though Cartense isn't here. She said.
Thank you, Miss Henry.
She said, "You're not alone, Quint." So yeah.
All right, so she's good.
Yeah.
And to all other listeners, have a great day, and thank you for tuning in, even though you're quiet at times.
Yeah.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM. We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it comes, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator,